Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Turn Right Machine Works. My name is Keith, and we're in here at the Plasma Cam. We have created a new product that we're going to be adding to what we make here at Turn Right Machine Works, and it'll be in on our the Right store. We're actually making our own version of a T-nut slot scraper. This one here in particular is one that I've had for 35 years. Now this was made by, the engraving's a little worn out, Northwestern Tool Incorporated. All right, and I think they're Dayton, Ohio. They were established back in 1981. And I remember getting this. This was when I was working for Atkinson Marine, and that was between 1980 and 1983 was the time period that they were open after I got in there. And we had picked up a box of tool bits or whatever, and this was in there. And this was one of their giveaways there. It still had their part number here, which is hard to see, but it's right in here, and part number 47101. This has been a great scraper, and I've had it for all these years, and this is my go-to. What I normally do is I have a magnet like this, and it sits on top of my mill, and I grab it. Now it is worn over. It's worn this way. It's worn on the thickness and everything else, and this is to stick down in those T-nut slots and scrape out the chips. So you are constantly using this within debris, and that tends to wear it down. These are the standard size. This is a 1/2-inch T-nut slot scraper, and this is a 3/8. This fits my K&T, and it also fits my Bridgeport. This side here fits my shaper and most of my import rotary tables and tilting knee and stuff like that. So those are standards, and that's T-nut slots used to be almost all standards. And then, you know, as tools expanded and imports started flying in, then we lost some standards that we used to have. But this was made back when we had standards. So anyway, I've taken and duplicated the original dimensions of the scraper at each end, but I've incorporated a change and a nice rounded surface instead of the angle cuts, and I've done away with the hole in the middle because I want to use this as a billboard as well. And we have engraving capabilities now, and we're going to be engraving these. All right, we got our engraver for the Plasma Cam, and so the Plasma Cam is going to actually be doing two parts of our T-nut slot scrapers. We're going to be engraving them on both sides, and the very first slot cleaners that we produce are a limited edition for the Bar Z Summer Bash 2018. And I have limited edition, get her done at Bar Z Summer Bash 2018, compliments of Keith Fenner. And on the back side, it'll be YouTube, my channel, and my Walk to Talk logo. Stan and I have been playing with finishing on these, and we're doing a heat finish and then just quench them in oil to give them color. Not all the colors are going to be exactly the same because I'm doing some on the wood stove and controlling that temperatures up and down a little bit. This is actually something that's been done in the oven for about 400 degrees. And then I had a couple that I was able to get real near that, putting them on top of the wood stove overnight. So they will be sealed in oil bath and give them a little bit of a finish on there, nice and clean. The Bar Z Summer Bash is an event that I've been part of 2 years in a row, and I decided to make these and send them to Stan so that everybody at the Bar Z Summer Bash this year will receive T-nut slot scraper special edition, just like this. All right. I also, for those of you that aren't going to be going to the Summer Bash, I have those available on my Right store, and $2 out of each purchase will be donated to the Summer Bash. Last year, Adam Booth and I had the T-shirt campaign, and we produced some good money to sponsor the Summer Bash. And I'm not going to be there this year, but I still want to be part of the Summer Bash. It's a fantastic event, and I hope everybody makes it. All right? That's on June 23rd. And Stan just put out the announcement of the invite for the Summer Bash, and here's the link for that. All right. Now this video here, I'm going to take you from start to finish on how we actually produce the scrapers and how we do them here. So this is kind of a share. You know I don't like production, but let's make it as fun as possible. All right, let's get going. Okay, the first thing that we start out with is we have that entire sheet is nested with our scrapers, all ready to be cut out. And let me hit the fan. All right, and here we go. All right, now we went ahead and made a slight little stop at the end of our cut, just a little bit before it cuts it completely out, so it actually leaves a little tab, and those tabs hold all the scrapers in place on the sheet so nothing falls through, and it maintains our airflow and our suction and keeps everything just going like there's a whole sheet on there. While we have the plasma cutter running, we're dressing off the ends, the sides, both ends, the little burr from where it peels in, and on one side there's a little bit of dross there, and that kisses off pretty easy. Then we come over here and then we test fit it into the no-go gauge, which is cut out jigs for engraving, but we also use this to hold it to come in and give that nice sand finish on the outside. We're eyeballing our top of our cut, that's where that edge is. And then when we turn it around, we do the same thing on the other side. The two sides the same way. And as soon as you got it square, it's done. And that final fit is making sure that it's down in there, and then we set them off of here. These are all done, ready to go for the finish. These here have not. All right, we just finished pulling out 9 of our pieces there to give us an area here. We're going to snip each one of these little things here, and we'll be able to lift both sections of this off now that we've got that done. So let's go ahead and bring our torch over here and put our Olmec clip there. There we go. Okay, put that back out of the way. Take our Velcro off, flip our piece there. We're ready to rock and roll. Put a little sunglasses here. Okay, and now let's just nip this off. Oh, let's grab some draft here. All right, let's go ahead and we're going to get another sheet up here. And we're going to pull this carriage off and we're going to put on another carriage. Make a little bit of floor space there. Okay, first off we're going to go ahead and we're going to pull the springs off of the wires here. All right, and these 2 plugs right here. That goes for the stop arc switch. And that one there. And this one here. We got spring here. And a spring there. There we go. Okay. It needs to be clean anyway, so we'll be cleaning that up. Okay, now we set on this carriage here. Okay, and put on our roller assembly here. Okay, we're gonna wipe this off, give it a little squirt. We're gonna clean these springs off. Okay, now we add on the springs. Pulled off of here. These needle nose vice grips really work good on these springs here. Okay. As soon as you plug this in, this locks it up. Okay. There we go. All right. That's set. That's set. I like that. Okay. Now we're just going to go ahead and hang up our lead and plug in that end. Okay, we're all set with our engraving attachment now, and we got plenty of room there. It looks like the spring's in a good position. We always check that after. We'll have a couple trial setups here. We had to reboot the reinitialize the contact between the controller and the computer, and now everything moves exactly like it's supposed to. Okay. We have a jig that we set up on here so that we can hold our parts and do the engraving that we want to do on them. All right, and all right, there's our jig right there. We have a clamp there and there to hold our sheet in here against our stop, and our stop's over there. And we'll probably, we might have to put something over here. We don't know yet. We got to put a clamp here and a clamp over there. And what we did here recently, the very first time we were using this, we just had parallels on here, and then we clipped those parallels. But I went ahead and I found two real small toe clamps, and they had a jack screw back here, but I used it to bolt this on here. And we have a couple washers, and I just drilled and tapped into this so that I would be able to move it to the side, and we'll change this out. Okay, and actually I had this set up, and the fat end was actually down at this end here. And not that it can go either way in a jig, but I've been using it that way, and I just want to keep using it in that fashion. All right, now we use this jig for holding them in here and doing the engraving, but we also use this jig to do the finishing. So we're probably going to make another recess just like this. This is the width of this and the length of it, and 3/4 of the depth. So 20% of this or 25% of this part actually sticks up above the surface. So it can sit down in there, and then you can take the Scotch-Brite disc and come right over the top of it and put on the surface finish that we want to establish before we engrave it. So we got another little step to do before we actually get here, but we're on our way. Okay, our jig is clamped down to the top of the table here, and I have a stack. We're going to start with a stack, and these are going to be put in here one at a time, and they just set in there just like that. We're going to set up an area where they're clean, because when they're done, they're going to be clean. And I'm going to wash my hands, and I'm probably going to put on some gloves, because from here on, we want to try to keep oils and everything else off of them. And we're going to set up our sander that we're going to use. Okay, and just so we can get comfortable here. Okay, and this is going to be kind of shooting the debris back here. So I think I'm going to get a piece of cardboard and set it up there. Actually, that'll take care of most of it right there. Okay. And we're just putting a pass on it like that. And that's good right there. And that's all we're doing is giving it clean. Woo. Yep, we're going to have gloves. Okay, it's a little bit warm. Okay, we're just going to put a stack up on that board right there. Okay. There's probably a ton of different ways to put a finish on the part. You get on a roll and you can almost get them in 1 or 2 shots. Okay, we're happy with our setup. We've located the edge of our part, and now we'll move this back out of the way. And we're going to bring our hardware in here. These are little mini clamps right here. I've radiused the edge of this. They were kind of straight, but I did that, and then I made the little L bracket, and then this was a adjustment screw. This foot actually went in there and I turned it around the other way. They were using that for a rocker, so I was using it for a holder. Alright, so I just cut 2 pieces of all thread in here, and I peened the back of the aluminum so they would only go in so far. And then we can put these on here like that, and a washer, spring, and a washer, and a nut. And I made it so if the nut's flush, it'd be pretty cool. And I got the handle so that I can control this easy. And all it needs to do is just lightly hold that down on there. Washer, spring, washer, nut. I just scrounged up the springs in my miscellaneous collection. Okay, so there and there. All right, we're ready to go. Just want to make sure that those aren't too high. Yeah, they might be a little high. Okay, looks good. I went ahead and took one of the springs, I cut it in half, took it on a sander, just kind of kissed it off so it lay flat on one side. We'll put the good side facing up on the nut. And I took a ½ an inch off of the studs there, and putting a washer on there because that slot a little bit, the washer fits snug there, and I don't need the washer on the top here. And just finger tight, but leave just a little bit of room there. That feels good, nice and stout. Okay, now we have plenty of clearance under here. That's what I was looking for there. Okay, this comes all the way over here, and goes all the way over as far as about there, and I think it's going to have plenty of clearance. All right, I think I'm ready to hit the button, go for a test cut. Okay, we're getting down to our last couple here in this quantity that we're doing, which is 100 pieces. And we've got 2 left. And I just wanted to show you that what we've done is set this up so that we can just click these down and take those little spring steels and it's ready to go again. And then we hit start and it's ready to go. Pretty cool. Okay, and our last one. There we are. All right, cool. All right, so we got a batch of 100 that we're all set, ready to go. The very next step is to go ahead and put a color on these. All right, and we're going to get ready to go into the house because we're going to be doing a heat coloring. We can't, we took and weighed the difference between doing a chemical coloring or a temperature or heat created coloring, and this is what we come up with. First off, this is a plain one before we get started. These two here are somewhat sand colored and or gold colored, and that's done at about 400 to 420 degrees. And then there is some here that have exceeded that temperature that I've done on the wood stove in there, and you can even see where it gets close to the end where it was touching part of the metal down below it, and this was kind of like suspended in the air. And the backside is a little darker because it was actually face down. I prefer this gold color because the engraving really stands out. The engraving itself almost looks like topaz engraving on that gold surface there. All right, so we're going to be shooting for this right here, and so we're gonna go in the house and preheat our oven, and we'll get started on that. Now, I will have some of these available, non-treated, and you can special order these. Now, these don't take any extra work, so I'm not going to charge you a single cent for doing nothing. All right, they're the same exact price whether I treat them or not. So there's no extra charge for not treating them. Just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that. Okay, the first thing you do is you get a big bucket of Kiko Man. No, my son brings me home the buckets there. They're nice, clean, white buckets. I got, I've got about a half gallon of water in there. And I like Zep citrus cleaner. You could have purple or purple cleaner, whatever you want, type of thing. And basically, I just want to make sure that we don't have any oil film or anything else on these things. We have handled them off and on with our fingers. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to put our collection here into the bucket. I think we're going to probably we'll do 50 of them at a shot here. We'll see how the stove in the house, how many we can get in there at a time. So I'm gonna put these in here, and then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna wash them and rinse them in the house right next to the oven, so that we're handling them just by the edges after they're clean. All right, so we got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and there's 30, there's 40, and here's 50. And we'll let those stay right there. All right. All right, let's head on into the house now. Okay, we're gonna set these over here by the sink. And we need to go ahead and preheat our oven. I'm gonna go ahead and set it for 420. And what you doing, buddy? Huh? Alright, we're going to do 3 racks. I'm going to let that warm up. Okay, the oven just told me it was all preheated, so let's get started. We're going to put our bucket in here, in the deep side of the sink here, and we're just going to turn on we'll get our water temperature set here, so we can handle it. We have a tray here with a cloth, just so that we can go ahead and take our clean parts, and we're going to pile them on there, and then we're going to go over to the stove and we're going to load it, so that we minimize the messes here in Vanessa's kitchen. And you know, what kind of woman lets you come into the kitchen and throw a couple pounds of steel in her oven and set it up for 400 degrees? And a very supportive woman. All right, so we give it the last little rub here. Give it a clean off here. This sink was originally in this house when we moved in, and we had the kitchen redone a couple years ago, and we love this sink and we wanted to keep it. So we got new counters and cabinets and all that stuff there, but we decided to keep this double basin sink with a nice deep side. We love it. It's got some chips in it, and it's as old as it is, and we love it. But it comes into play. You know, before I got my wash basin out there in the shop hooked up, I used to come in here and wash my shop hands, and this sink looked like my shop sink out in the shop sometimes. And I tell you, this woman has put up with a lot with me, and I love her dearly. Great support. I'm where I'm at because of her. Surprising, the on the T slots here, there was the little metal shims that I put in there, give it a little coloring, but that's actually taking it off. They're coming out really nice and clean here. So if I get the color we tested in here on these, will be fat and golden here. Vanessa was cute. She asked me, I need some pans. And I said, no, I'm going to lay them right on the rack. And she goes, oh, but those racks are dirty in there. I'm sure that they'll be okay. And if it comes out with barbecue lines, then we won't charge you extra for that either. Sterilize for your protection. That's what Vanessa always says when she's cleaning up something. Couple more here. Look at that, huh? Whew. All right, now let's go load them in the stove. We'll load the bottom first, I guess. Hey, so I'd say 50 is a good quantity. Go ahead and put in here. Okay, we could take a couple of these off the bottom and put them up here. Something like that. There, six in each row. Looks pretty good. Okay. Okay, this is about 25 after 1, so we'll see how long it actually takes 400 degrees to give those a color change. We actually got it at 420. All right, while that's warming up, we're going to go ahead and we're going to find some oil to quench them in. Okay, I got this mobile oil bucket, but inside this bucket I have poured from my other container of quenching oil. This is what's actually in here. This is only filled up about that much right there, so we'll be able to drop our parts in. So while we're waiting for some color here, Eric told me about this Campbell's Chunky chili with beans, and he knows I like a certain kind of chili, and this fits right in there. It's pretty good. So I switched over from coffee to Pepsi, having a little chili. We're waiting for the color. Okay, I just took one outside so that we could check the color, and I have the desired color that I want. And I have the bucket here, and we're just going to take them and drop them into the oil. And then we'll go get our next batch, and we'll wash those. And this time we'll dry off the. Try not to drop them in there too hard because they splash in a little bit. We don't want to overstay our welcome into the kitchen here. The oil's starting to steam. Okay. We'll have to get out of here before we set off the smoke alarm. Okay, out to the shop. Pretty cool. All right, these are still pretty warm, not hot enough to burn my hand. Now, when I was pulling them out of the oven, I noticed that there was just a couple that was just starting to turn purple on the outside. So there's a couple that are going to have just a little variation into them, but most of them come out that beautiful sandy gold color. And I like that. We got the other batch in the oven now, and they come out pretty decent. A couple little spots there where the water spots did give it just a little accent there, but I'm not going to be too sad there. They definitely are still a pretty scraper, and really liking that. It's got to be the bottom there where the flame comes out around the bottom. It's a gas oven, not an electric oven. That's pretty cool. All right, we're going to wipe these off and get our bucket cleared out, ready for the next batch when they come out of the oven. All right, you know, Stan at Bar Z Industrial was the one that told me about heat coloring and turned me on to that. And it was pretty painless in my kitchen there. Now, I don't know why Karen kicked him out of her kitchen, but I'm not going to go there. Anyway, Stan's got an oven in his shop now, and he tells me, and that's how he does the heat coloring. All right, we're going to be shipping these out. 300 of them are going to the Bar Z Summer Bash, compliments of myself. And I'm also going to be offering these on my website for anybody that would like one that's not going to make it to the Bar Z Summer Bash and would like one of these limited edition T-nut scrapers for scraping out your 1/2-inch T-nut slots and your 3/8. I'm going to send a T-nut scraper, a pair of stickers. I'll have a packing list which will be wrapped around here so it makes it that much more durable, and inside a bubble mailer. All right, I'm going to ask $8 for the scraper. $2 out of each purchase is actually going to be mailed to Stan for sponsoring the Summer Bash. Adam and I did a really nice sponsorship with our t-shirts last year, and I wanted to do something this year, and that's what this is all about this year. So if you're making it to the bash, you're going to get a free one, and if you can't make it there, you can still purchase one. I'll have them on my website, and whatever quantity limit that I can get in one bag and a price, I will have that for quantity of 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. The envelope cost me about $1, and shipping is about $2.50 a piece. So that's where my price is going to be gauged at on the website itself. All right, pretty cool. I'm glad it's going smooth, and I'm really grateful that Vanessa lets me use her kitchen. All right, until next time, get her done.